Banks has got 5 points so far.
Perfect screen there. Set him up with a terrific look.
Yeah, I like the fact that the setup was good, the screen was solid, but you also have to look at the fact that the defender didn't do his job as well as he could have.
George with the bucket.
Effective screen set there for the jump shot. That was the key to the play.
For the Detroit Pistons, they won their last contest, that game against Minnesota.
And we've talked about how in the NBA you've got to earn your points the hard way, and that really wasn't the case in that game for them.
No, there was no hard way about it. I mean, they got their points easily on dunks and layups against a defense that really didn't offer much of a fight.
How about 3 or 4 from the floor to start? That's always a good sign.
Outside Banks. Trying his luck deep. That's good. Banks has got 8 points.
This is why I love his game. You really have to admire his tenacity.
Stuckey passes to George. Turner dishes to Hill. Misses the 3. Pistons leading by 3. Well, Doris, an interesting game. Moments ago, you had a chance to talk with head coach Frank Vogel. What do you have to say?
I asked him about the matchup problems created by a player like Andrea Bargnani, a 7-foot sharpshooter. He said he can give us problems, no doubt. It's tough to really bother that shot, and he can also put it on the deck and drive. We've got to just get into his body, try to make him a facilitator rather than a scorer. Kevin, we'll see if they're successful.
And thank you for that, Doris.
And with room like that off the pick, you have got to knock that one down.
Well, you know, they did everything right, Greg. They executed. All you want is a good look at the basket. Sometimes the shots just don't fall.
Now here's Drummond. An 11-point game for him in the win against Minnesota. The Pistons shooting their first free throws here tonight.
And they've been mediocre all season long, just about 72%.
Detroit with the ball. They lead by 4. The Pacers beat them last time when these two teams met in Indiana.
Well, I mean, they lost their last matchup with this team, and foul trouble really plagued them throughout the game.
Yeah, I thought it was the carelessness, though, Greg. A lot of their starters had to have their minutes cut back as a result. Have to play with much more discipline tonight.
And now let's check out the lineups courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Here's the second quarter of play. On the court for the Pistons, Banks, he's in at point guard. Andre Drummond is out there with Marcus Morris. And it's Hood in at the 2 guard.
Yeah, you're making things far too easy for him when you let him get it that deep.
I echo that. Ditto. I mean, you've got to do your work early to try to keep him out of the post. Fight him a little bit. Keep him away from that spot he wants.
Pacers trail by 4. Guys, they're looking for a way to score here.
Yeah, they've had a tough time getting the lid off the basket so far.
George, no good. Pistons shooting an incredible 64% from the field in this game. Outside Banks. Down low. Hood kicks to Drummond. Here's Banks. Sinks the three-pointer. Banks has got 13.
And at the offensive end, he's done about as much as they could have hoped for today.
Sessions passes to Turner. Pacers have shot less than 50% at the free throw line today. Hitting just 3 of 7. That free throw good from Turner. Contavious Caldwell-Pope, he's checked in for Detroit. And a change for the Pacers. Hill, he's checked in for Sessions. Pistons leading by 6. Outside Banks. Pass to Caldwell-Pope. He dishes it to Morris. Nice ball movement by Detroit. 5 on the clock. Banks kicks to Caldwell-Pope. Again, the Pistons good for 2.
Yeah, I love the communication and the chemistry between those teammates.
Pacers trail by 8. Outside Hill. Inside. And Turner with the basket on the assist by Hill. Hill's got 3 assists now in this one. Detroit's gone 3 of 7 tonight from three-point territory. Morris a screen. Here's Banks. And the 3 off target. The Pacers have gone 2 of 3 from the field here to open the second quarter. Stuckey kicks to Hill. Stuckey with it. Guarded now by Morris. Hill has the open look. Detroit with the rebound. When this game is done, they'll be off to take on the Raptors. And that'll be the first of a 2-game road trip for them. Drummond a screen.
Move the ball. Sticking too much.
Outside Banks. Here's Hood. He's guarded by Hill. Puts it up from 17. And it comes off the front of the rim.
Major defensive lapse right there. I mean, he's not a player you can leave open for a jump shot. You've got to stay attached to him. They're lucky he couldn't punish them for it.
There's the pick. The drive by Hill. Here's George. Can't hit from 12. Pistons leading by 6. Outside Banks. Pass to Drummond. Good work defensively by Turner.
The defense ready for him on that possession. They had to be because he is so strong in the paint.
And Doris Burke has something for us. Hey, Doris.
Well, Kev, Freak in the last matchup against the Timberwolves was just a man on a mission. He ended with 19 points and was effective from long range as he got that scoring line by dropping in a good amount of threes. The cherry on top for him, in addition to his outing, was ending the losing streak his team had been suffering through. We all know how big those moments can be for a team, Kevin.
Thanks, Doris. He had a heck of an outing that night, GA.
Yeah, he really did, Kevin. I mean, a very professional performance. Played hard every single second he was on the court.
And so that's the end of the first half. The Pistons on top, leading by 10. And time now to go courtside as we send you over to...
Well, Coach Vogt.
All right, the second half beginning in just a moment.
When you're hot, you're hot, and that's certainly been the case for Freak. He has 15 points, and he's drained 3 3-point bombs so far.
Don't stop. Don't hesitate. Keep firing from out there when the shot's falling like this.
Checking out the group for Frank Vogel to start the second half. Hill and Stuckey are the guard set. C.J. Miles is out there with Paul George, and it's Turner in at center.
Move the ball. Sticking too much.
Here's Banks. And the miss, not the best shot selection there. Pacers trail by 8. To the wing right side. Here's Miles. Kept alive. And for the Pistons, they're shooting indicative of smooth offensive play. Up at 60%. They're a machine from the floor. Shoots. Banks, no good.
And even though he missed that, you have to take those shots when you get the opportunity.
Exactly. They don't come much better or easier than that.
Hill dishes to Stuckey. They set the pick. Pass to George. Basket is good. The assist from Stuckey. 7 points for Paul George.
The screenplay worked ideally there, and I'm not talking about the screenplay you see in a movie theater. Gave him more than enough room to get that shot off.
Drummond passes to Banks. Picked by Bargnani. Banks kicks to Bargnani. The 10-footer. That's good. And the Pistons lead by 8.
I like the recognition of the mismatch there, immediately making the defense pay.
Now George. He's got 7. The 3. And he gets it to go. George has got 10.
Their second half has started quite well. They've been good on 3 of their first 4 attempts.
Drummond the screen. Now the dish to Caldwell Pope. Caldwell Pope gets a screen from Banks. Caldwell Pope passes to Morris. That shot wide open. And a good time here to go over our 2K leaderboard and see which point guards have had the hottest hand at the free throw line over the last 10 games. Freak is second.
He's been a model of consistency at the free throw line all season. He's as dependable up there as he is on the floor at any given moment.
Yeah, you know, he runs their offense with tremendous poise, and he brings that same composure with him to the line every time he steps up there.
Everything going to plan here to start the third. 80% shooting thus far.
Drummond the screen.
Move the ball. Sticking too much.
Hill against Banks. Drummond with a screen on Stucker. Off the pick. Bounces.